Case caption stated about a plaintiff versus August Anton Peters, defendant. The record this morning will reflect the presence of the defendant. Mr. Peters, good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
And the record will reflect that Mr. Peters is appearing today via Zoom from the Humboldt County Detention Center. And Mr. Peters, are you able to hear and see me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you're coming through clearly to the court. If we have any difficulty with the Zoom connection, will you please do your best to notify me?
Yes, sir, I will.
Okay, you're represented by Mr. Mathew Stermitz. Mr. Stermitz is present here in the courtroom, and the state is represented by Mr. Anthony Gordon and Mr. Michael McDonald, who all should be visible to you today. If you have any difficulty hearing them, again, please notify me. Also present today, we have Ms. Akuma with the Division of Parole and Probation appearing via Zoom, and Ms. Bird with pretrial services in the courtroom. This matter is on the calendar for a pretrial conference. This case is set for, I believe, a 2-week jury trial to begin on November 1st of 2021. The court had set this for an early pretrial to assess if there would be pretrial matters that needed to be addressed by the court, and I am aware today of a number of motions in limine filed by the defense. It appears that we have about at least 7, I'm aware of, motions in limine, and I believe that those have been fully briefed, and this pretrial conference, I don't have sufficient time on the calendar today because we have a stacked calendar. I would like to set a hearing day if the attorneys wish to provide any oral argument on these motions. Mr. Gordon, I see you've got on your feet. Do you have something too?
Well, Mr. Stermitz had filed, I believe, on Friday a supplemental, and we haven't had a chance to respond to that on his motion in limine.
A supplement to one of the motions in limine?
Yes.
Okay, very good. I may not be aware of that myself. But if we're not going to hear oral arguments on these today, I would like to schedule a day with sufficient time to hear all of these if counsel believes that oral arguments would be necessary. Mr. Stermitz.
You know, I think so, and I even contemplated, and I have sought leave to, I guess, supplement the existing motion in limine with some additional fact and legal argument. But I'm requesting an evidentiary hearing on at least one of the issues.
So one of those would be treated, are you then asking one of those be treated as a motion to suppress?
Well, it could be treated as a motion to suppress. We're just looking for a pretrial ruling on the admissibility of evidence, and I think it would be beneficial. I think I've got to lay an evidentiary basis for what I'm requesting. So it can either be done through oral testimony or combinations of those. Combination of oral testimony and written evidence, but I'm thinking I need to put a witness on a stand to get a lot of the evidence in.
And are you at liberty at this time to indicate to the court which of your motions in limine you're referencing?
I'm referring to Detective Morgan's personnel file as well as the criminal investigation into his theft of controlled substances from the evidence locker as well as his death.
Okay. And thank you. The state, any further comment?
Your Honor, I think that the particular motion dealing with the Detective Morgan's character probably should be heard. I think I'm not aware of the content of the other motions in limine, so I think we probably should request that they be held at the same time.
So you're saying you're not aware of the other?
Well, Mr. Pasquale, I don't know whether they address
Okay, well, we have, let me just recap for you. We have marijuana evidence, and I'm just being very brief here. Marijuana evidence, any weapons found at the scene except for the alleged murder weapon, the jailhouse phone calls, reference to defendant's decision not to testify, custodial status, use of the term victim at trial, and then the one that was character evidence of Detective Matt Morgan. So those are the 7 that I'm aware of. And I see that some of these, the state has not filed, has filed a response, but is in not opposition, is no opposition or has no intention to comment on some. So those are the motions that I'm discussing as necessary, possibly for oral arguments, and Mr. Stermitz is suggesting at least one of those may be the need for some evidence.
Yeah, so if, obviously Mr. Pasquale filed a non-op, those probably don't need to be heard. The other ones that he had filed a response to, especially dealing with Mr. Morgan's character, that one needs to be heard.
Okay, Mr. Stermitz, how much time do you anticipate needing for this hearing?
I think we should reserve a half a day.
Okay, and we've been looking at the court's calendar for a couple of other matters today. This trial is set out a little bit further, but we're going to need to hear this fairly soon. My assumption be correct?
It may be, that's
The court's calendar has jury trials scheduled for every week in the month of September. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to have a conversation with my staff about other available dates, and we'll set this as quickly as the court's calendar will allow. Concerns or problems with that? I believe, Mr. Stermitz, we're aware of some dates that you're out of the office as well.
correct.
I don't know that I've been informed if there are any blanket dates that the state would be unavailable, but I am aware of some that Mr. Stermitz is unavailable. So that being said, I'll have my staff coordinate with your offices to schedule a hearing. If we can't find an available date, then I'm going to put it back on and I'll set it in court, okay? Anything else, Mr. Stermitz?
No.
Mr. Gordon? Okay, thank you. Mr. Peters, have you been able to hear everybody?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, very good. You understand what we're doing then today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We'll notify you of that hearing date on these pretrial motions, okay?
All right, sir.
Thank you. We'll be in recess for today.